Hey, welcome to a new video. Today I'm behind the wheel of a beautifully restored Datsun 240Z put together by the guys at S30 World. I'm going to be meeting with Chris, the man behind the operation, and kind of get an understanding of how he's able to create these incredible restorations. I mean, he really takes his time to perfect every detail, every surface, every plastic, even right down to the vinyl on the seats, to make sure that the cars are exactly as they came out of the factory in October 1969 for this car, because this is car number 23. If you say that in Japanese, it's actually Nissan, so it has a very special value. And this is Chris's prized possession. This is the third time the car is out on the road. I'm actually the third person to drive it. Even Chris himself hasn't driven it yet. And we're going to really understand how the company kind of creates these beautiful restorations, as well as a very special project, which will end up being on a second video. So let's get going with the whole operation and understand how it's all set up. All right, so before we actually go out and take these cars for a drive to feel the differences of the different packages themselves, we're going to take a look at this museum that Chris has put together and see how he approaches the restorations, the different packages available, and the results, because there's some serious gold in here.
Yeah, my name is Chris Visser. I'm the initiator of S30 World, and what we want to achieve is more appreciation for the S30 platform worldwide. When I was a kid, I think around 12 years old, I was driving with my bike with an older friend, and then he shouted and he looked behind and he saw a car and he called it a Ferrari. So we were excited, I wanted to see it, but we collided with our bikes. But then when we finally got at the car, it seems to be a 240Z. So yeah, I think that was the first time I saw the car and I really appreciated it.
I was honestly pretty blown away to hear of S30 World, a specialist restoration business catering to restoring and at times resurrecting Datsun 240Z's. Chris, the man behind the operation, invited me out to Holland to not only take a look at his approach, but also understand why he's doing what he's doing. This all started off as a passion project, a combination of a few stars aligning. First, Chris's love for the S30 that started back in his childhood. Then him stepping away from his successful businesses and being able to dedicate his time to this new endeavor. And finally, meeting Gustav, the craftsman behind these restorations.
All right, so I'm here with Chris, the owner and the man behind S30 World. Thanks again for the invitation. It's been awesome to kind of begin to really understand what you're doing here with the restoration side of things. But I would really appreciate if we could start looking at the museum and start giving me your insights into, I guess your relationship with the S30, because you're obviously very much obsessed, I would say.
Well, it's maybe a bit. Well, thank you for being here. What you see here is a body of an S30.
Yeah. And
people always say that those bodies are very bad, but this body is here to prove that actually they are very good, because you see here a lot of rust on the frame rail.
Yeah.
But the cores, you see, it starts with the battery.
Oh, where the
acid of the battery really ruins the car.
Yeah.
So when this battery had been taken care of, then we wouldn't have those problems. Mm-hmm. But it's also nice to see those cars that you can see the evolutions the body has had. If you look there, that's an October 69 car. It's already a lot different from this car that is from July 1970. Yeah, you see a lot of more reinforcement in those cars.
Yeah.
But for the rest, when we are talking about rust, there are a lot of areas, of course, they can rust, but this particular car is really has a nice body.
So they kind of made it up as they went along, adding extra reinforcement bits and changing stuff as they built the cars throughout the years.
Yes, but it started already weeks I think if you have a car from December 69,
Yeah.
it's already different than the body of a car from October 69.
That's crazy.
So in the beginning they did a lot, and of course you see this body, if you end up with a 280, you don't see any holes at all. But the 69 car has 3 holes here.
Yeah.
This area, all the other cars, the later cars have here reinforcements. And so if you walk through the car, it's really easy to recognize when a body is made, especially from the first year of production.
That's wild. And I guess you learned all of this as you kind of started tearing cars down as they
Yes.
came in.
Yeah, I started taking them apart. Of course, the body, the difference, you see very easily, but also the parts that you see, okay, this part is different from a part I find on another car. For example, the front bumper of an S30. The early ones, I don't know if you can see it with the camera, but they have only 1 bolt on the bumper. And the later ones, they had 2 bolts and much stronger brackets. And those kinds of difference you see all over the car. No, I think there are sold about 400,000 S30s worldwide, and in Europe only 1,000, in the Netherlands maybe 200. So here it was a very rare car. You saw them, not many times on the road. Well, I started in the car business, became a Renault dealer, later also a Nissan dealer, and in 2008 it was the first time that I bought a 280, but I bought it too fast, didn't know anything about it, so it was the wrong car, sold it again. And then in 2016, then I really said, okay, now is the moment, I'm going to focus on those cars. And I started buying them, working on them, and trying to start a vision about how I could go forward with them. Well, this car is a first paint car, and this particular car we completely refreshed technically. But it was one of the first cars, nice cars I bought. And in the beginning I thought, okay, I don't like the side moldings, I don't like the mirrors, I don't like the
this one has the
louvers, so I take it off. But when you take it off, you get holes. But in the meantime, I really love the car because it's one of the best examples you can imagine if you are looking for an S30.
Yeah. So were these pieces all like option stuff that the dealer would offer?
Well, the thing is that the dealers they needed to make money, so they were selling as much as possible stuff to make some extra money on top of the car. But most of them really are bad for the car.
And then they just self-tapping screws into the body.
Yeah.
And this thing was hinged as well. Obviously you have to open it.
Yeah.
To clean
this was done by the dealers, yeah.
And these moldings are all drilled into the body?
Yeah, they are drilled into the body. Well, this is 15,000, a white car, and I learned from you that you like this the most.
Oh yeah, definitely. For me, the S30 in white is the best.
Yeah, well, you will see in 3 months, you will see the result of this advice.
Okay.
Thank you, Dino, thank you.
And that's another special project we'll be looking at very soon, but especially with the Gotti wheels, they look so special.
Yeah.
And all these cars are sourced, I guess it's a mix of US market and European market, right?
Well, most of them are US market sourced, but this particular car is a European car, and there are only 1,000 S30s delivered in the early 70s to Europe. Yeah. Except the UK. But what makes this car special is that in 1970, Nissan sent 240Z to the Netherlands with Z432 suspension and with a rear spoiler.
Oh, the rear spoiler from the 432.
Yeah. Well, they sent it to the Netherlands. It was tested by Rob Janssen, but he wrote a letter to the factory and said, okay, you can call this a GT car, but it's absolutely not a sports car because it's not stable anymore above 100. Rob worked together with a team in Japan, which also included Miyazaki-san, And they made a completely different setup for the suspension and also developed the front spoiler. Yeah, so this car is really a much better car regarding the suspension.
And just handles better for
aerodynamics. Yeah. This is a 919 yellow 240Z. It's also first paint, but you see all, it has some ditches.
Little dings and stuff, yeah.
But I really love this color, and this car is, for 97% completely original.
Yeah.
And the body is absolutely straight and good. And here we have an 240Z automatic. And
this is rare. You don't really, even in Japan, I don't think I've ever seen.
I think they have been, but this car was, of course, produced in Japan. It was shipped to the US, shipped from the US to Japan, and finally shipped from Japan to us. So Katz is the former owner of this, and sometimes he comes back here to see it here in the museum. It was pure passion when I started with those cars, but in the end, to what I wanted, the way I wanted to have them restored, it could only be done when I created a group of people around me that were able to do that. So in the end, it became a company. That was not the goal, but from there we went forward. This is one of the last cars with this on the hatch. Yeah, it's a first paint car also, and I think we have about 7, 8 first paint cars. And for us, it's really nice to have a car that's really almost exactly as it came out of the factory, and to see what materials were used, what colors, how it was plated, and things like that. And besides the project cars we have, it gives us a lot of information how we restore the cars.
So basically, you use your collection as an archive to learn as you go, right? I mean,
yes, it's an archive.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and you have so many interesting cars here. Even this very rare. Is this an IMSA race car?
This VIN number is also special of this car. This is the 29th left-hand drive car built. It started its racing career in 1970, and then in 1971, Jerry Purcell bought the car and had it till 2012, then sold it, and also helped me to purchase the car.
So you haven't touched it, you just left it as it came?
No, we didn't touch it, only the engine is done and the transmission is done. But for the rest, for the moment, we are very busy, so we keep it like it is. But one day we will start with it.
Built-in ductile. And really wide rear fenders. Over fenders on the back, and then the whole front fender is a complete redesign. Is this FRP?
Yeah. But I think what is interesting is I think I need to take the hood up. Because what you see here, that the engine is placed lower, it has a dry zone, and it's also almost through the firewall.
Yeah, it's being moved back by, and I can't believe it's got a dry sump in 1970.
Yeah.
Amazing. And the tank would be, there it is, passenger side.
Well, it can be that the dry sump, they started maybe in
later on.
Yeah, later, because the car was constantly developed.
Sure.
So. Well, the thing is, when I started in the early days in 2016, I really wanted to create my dream S30. So with a different color, wheel arches, everything changed. But then I got deeper into the car, and I got more and more appreciation for the car, how it originally was. So I said, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make changes on the car, but first I want to restore some cars really as they left the factory.
And you've even gone to the trouble of sourcing these kind of very American market cars with these gigantic bumpers that they was kind of forced to add to the cars, right?
Well, I think in the beginning I really hated them, those bumpers. But now if I look at this car, and it has air conditioning and 5 speeds, and it's a statement, like it is. So I don't care don't care not so much anymore about those bumpers. I wouldn't like to have it in my dream car, but it's how they were.
It's an evolution, right? So this is a 280, right?
Yeah. Also the bar in the back, you know.
It's like bull bars front and back.
But you see, also the dealers, they found the Louvre. It was added by the dealer. This was added by the dealer. This was added by the dealer. So
just kept adding to it.
And also, this. I think it doesn't make sense, but But this, what I like this also of this car, that's really like
the patina.
First paint, and it's not painted or repaired.
And then I guess this one really stands out too. With the is this like a factory coloring?
It's the ZEP, and it was delivered like this with the stripes and I think the Louvres. I'm not 100% sure. 5-speed. And on this car, the bumpers don't.
They're a bit more compact.
No, they're the same, but they look more compact in a kind of way.
S30 World has 2 locations. The first is the workshop in Budapest, where Gustav does his thing with fabrication and metalwork, erasing years of use and abuse and unavoidable age, recreating chassis components and body panels out of sheet metal. Then the other premises just outside Amsterdam, where cars are finished off and special projects are carried out. This is also the same location where Chris has created the S30 World Museum, showcasing his prized possessions like the number 23 240Z that has been meticulously restored to factory fresh condition. That car joins an ever-growing array of Z's that help Chris showcase the various restoration packages that he offers.
Well, I think it's good to go to car 23.
Yes, of course.
But, it started a bit with this car for me. I still remember the moment that I was able to buy this car and to get it.
So when you say car number 23, you actually mean that this was the 23rd S30 ever made, as it's
not S30, but left-hand drive.
Left-hand drive, HLS 30.
Yeah, HLS 30, yeah. And then I think with this car, the obsession started to get every detail right. We even made the rubber mats for it. We made special ducts here. A lot of details that are different from other cars. But and also you see here the different hood, different latch, and that's only the top of the iceberg. There's so much different on those cars.
Yeah.
And what is also that they are the purest cars to drive because they are the lightest. Mm-hmm. So there's less sound insulation. So here you hear more, you feel more, and it's really, really interesting and entertaining.
Can I take a look inside?
Yeah.
I think we really need to show how the door closes because if you've ever been around an S30, you know how hard it is to close the door usually. Well, but it's absolutely effortless.
I'm really proud of the way those cars closes. But it took us 5 years to find the right supplier to get it right.
To get all these rubber seals done, and you can see how fresh and soft. Yeah. So you also mentioned that you took special attention to how the vinyl of the seats was made.
Yeah, I think the way the pattern of the vinyl is, I think that's really special for an S30. So it took us also some time to find them, and finally we had to make it ourselves.
Wow. It looks like a brand new seat. Yeah. Which are out of the production line in 1969?
moment we have 2 test cars, and we are on those cars we are testing all the upgrades we made to the cars to make them more to raise the drivability, because reliability is #1, and we don't compromise on reliability, but the drivability sometimes compromises on originality. So those cars we try to keep on the outside as much as possible as a normal car, but to do all the changes that you can't see it, but really make it a car that you can drive almost as a daily car. So one package is about reliability, one is about drivability, and a third package is about experience, because of course people have all kinds of different tastes. So how many horsepower do you need? Do you need 150? Do you need 300? Everything is possible. Also with your suspension, are you happy with the improved suspension, how we offer it? Or do you want really a suspension you can do everything with? So in suspension, for example, we have 4 levels.
All right, so first thing is first, we're actually taking out both of Chris's development cars for S30 World. Basically a good idea of what is able to be done to cars that come here to get restored and I guess evolved, you know, for example, the yellow car actually runs an electric power steering. The red one here was actually running the same one, but they didn't like the feel of it, kind of artificial, over-assisted little feedback, so developed their own hydraulic system, which feels really, really on point, very modern, just makes the whole driving experience really smooth. We're going to be taking the cars to a few locations just to get some beauty shots of the Z's, and of course, being in Holland, what else could you possibly go and find other than a windmill? How sick is this location? Literally like 3 minutes from the shop, so perfect to get the cars right up against this sick first location. And I love how simple these cars both look. Of course, I covered in S30 World stickers, which is what they do to their research and development cars, but I love how they just keep it simple and concentrate on the stuff that actually makes a difference. All right, so we actually came on the other side of the windmill, you can see back there in the background, to get a few more shots. But yeah, like I mentioned, we're going to be taking these for a slightly more extended drive, so I can feel, I guess, the differences of what they're testing out. For example, the S30 in red there has an exhaust system that actually sounds decent at lower RPM, but it's not something they would go for because it has to have a bit more character throughout the rev range. And then yeah, there's a difference between the power steering. So we'll jump in both cars, understand, you know, what these guys at S30 World are working on, and let you guys know, because, you know, it's really interesting that there's companies like this that are not just restoring and sticking to what was there from factory or available at the time, but they're actually researching, developing, and progressing, evolving these cars to a point that they become more usable, more enjoyable, and they give those experiences that last a lifetime. So that said, we're going to jump in and experience these two cars. So I'm in the red car, and this is one of the development cars that S30 World is kind of using to test out some of the processes that they have while building and restoring these cars. For example, this car actually has a lot of sound deadening, which makes it impressively quiet and almost relaxed when you're driving, because it has a modified version of the L series engine, 2.8, so extremely torquey, mated to an S30 transmission, 5-speed, with like a short throw conversion on it. So it actually feels like a really modern car. I would kind of compare it to an S chassis from the early 90s, something like an S13. And what really surprises me is just how torquey the 2.8 is. Like, say right now at 2000 RPM in third gear, I got to floor it, it would just instantly pick up and have a nice spread of torque. And the suspension also, both cars are running different dampers. The yellow car actually has their Step 3 kit, which is actually even more refined. Chris said you can easily go over ramps like like this, but yeah, I mean, it really does cope with imperfections surprisingly well. We went through a little village before to get some shots, and there are little cobblestone roads all over the place, and I was just surprised how smooth it could just take everything in its stride. Like, take the GTR for example. If I drove with modern raised dampers on roads like that, I would shake myself to death, but these cars are able to take it. And again, it goes with the whole philosophy that S30 World has, where they want to really create cars that people are able to use extensively. Chris's example is always taking the car and going for Paris, for a drive to Paris, and being able to do these kind of continental drives without getting too tired. Having cars that are able to stay at higher speed without any little connections that you always need to do with these older cars. So even the steering, this one is running their hydraulic rack and power steering, so it's a very modern feeling steering. Lots of feedback. I feel every imperfection being transmitted through the Nardi steering wheel here. And after this car, I get to jump in a yellow car and kind of feel the differences. That car has no sound deadening, no sound insulation, so it'll be a lot more raw and kind of like unrefined when it comes to that. But that really will help me understand just how much work went into cars like this one here with all the sound deadening, and really giving a new breath of life to these cars. Because back in the 70s or late 60s, when these cars were brand new, the refinement wasn't there, like compared to what we're used to in today's day and age. We're really kind of spoiled with modern cars, and to have some of that in these cars that we tend to use over the weekend or for like special drives with our buddies or family, just to go on a nice ride with the wife down to some I don't know, like a restaurant or a weekend away. You kind of forget how used you are to kind of the refinements of modern cars, but having some of that in an S30 like this, man, it really does help make the difference. And I'm quite impressed at how drivable and refined it all is. And yeah, the torque of the 2.8, again, third gear, instant pickup. Alright, so I'm in the yellow car now, and as you can hear, it's a hell of a lot more of a raw experience. And I totally understand what Chris was talking about, that he concentrated on refining every aspect of the red car so that it could become a more usable experience, a more relaxing drive, something that you can pull out and use without worry if you want to do like a long trip. This one feels like the 70s. It smells like the 70s. The engine doesn't really like to be probably below 3,000 RPM. You really have to get into it, and then it starts singing. Oh yeah. This sounds like most of these that we get to see and feature in Japan. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think what Chris is doing with his cars really does begin to make a lot of sense for people that really want to extract as much usability as possible. out of their Fair Lady Z's or Datsun 240Z's. All right, so we've had a chance to try out both cars, and I don't know, I guess, Chris, talk me through how you're developing, so many different cars and approaches to restoring. Like this one you mentioned has all the sound deadening, and it's kind of geared towards being more smooth and usable. Whether this one is a kind of more raw approach, right?
Well, the thing is, yes, of course, but when we were developing this car, we had a different approach. So now we have the approach that first reliability. So we do everything on the car that matters reliability. Yeah. Then drivability, and when that's done, then we add experience. Mm-hmm. So this is what you could call a base model that has reliability, drivability, and but also, of course, a bit experience, because it's really great that you can use a car 55 years old in the way you can use this car. The idea behind this was that you could do 1,000 kilometers on a highway in one day with two people. So, and that's really doable. I did it last summer. And the other car, here we have special suspension, and we also have here electric power steering. But we did that to see what is the best solution. But for me, clearly the hydraulic power steering is far the best solution. And this car is not, we didn't refine this car. So that car is much more refined on little details. For example, that your turn signal, the turn signal is much louder in that one, so you don't forget it. In this car, I always forget it. So a lot of small things that really help to help in daily driving. And also, with this car, when I take Sonia out in this car, it's loud, it's a little bit more harsh. So she really loves to drive in that car. The first step, and we developed then more stages on the engine and more stages on the suspension. So in the end, you can end with 380 horsepower and have a four-way suspension system. So it's all possible.
Basically depending on what the customer prefers.
What the customer prefers, but I think 80% of the people are really happy with that. Yeah.
Well, it makes total sense. It's so usable and really relaxing to drive. Right down to the seats, which come from a Porsche Boxster, correct?
No, it are Recaro seats, but Recaro delivers seats to a lot of companies and also to Porsche. Yeah. But we give them our own touch. Yeah. And we try to find the least heaviest ones, because they're rather heavy. But sometimes you have to make a compromise on the drivability.
Absolutely. All right, let's have a look at the engine so we can understand visually what it looks like when you go for the 2.8.
Yeah, what you see here is a 280ZX ignition, stronger booster, stronger calipers, a stronger alternator on the other side, a stronger starter, also the power steering, the hydraulic power steering, a better radiator, but we can also use the old radiator and give it an extra row.
Right.
But this is the easiest solution for that. And what we did here is of course all new hoses, everything that has to do with reliability is new on this car. And so that's basically, what I forgot is the oil cooler. This car has an oil cooler, so we don't take risks with cooling, because if the cooling breaks down, you have really a problem. And my last trip with this car, I went over passes of 2,500 meters, and I didn't even see the gauge of the temperature moving. So, reliability and drivability. That's the starting point. And then you can do everything with the car.
And the massive spread of torque is something I noticed because
Yes, well,
you don't really need to shift too many gears. I mean,
yeah,
it's always there.
With this car, we really try to make it very easy drivable. But in all our own developments, we will focus on a wide power band.
Yeah.
And not on the maximum power, but a wide power band. Although when a customer wants the maximum power, he can get it, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just the way we look at the car and think it performs the best.
And there is a third car we're going to go look at now, which is something very special.
We have
right?
a car that was one of the first cars that left the assembly line. That's HLS 30-00023. And it's for me a special car because with that car it's all started really. So
yeah.
Really
and
very
of course,
cool car.
23 in Japanese is Nissan.
It's Nissan, yes.
So that's
yes.
extra
Yeah.
special.
Yeah.
So we're going to head back to the shop and take that out. So we've actually taken down the number 23 S30. This is the 23rd car ever produced in October 1969. A car that Chris has meticulously restored to 99 point something OEM spec. And I say that because he doesn't really know. There's the very minute details that he may have gotten the shade of a color wrong or something like that. But consider it as close as you could possibly ever get to an OEM perfection type restoration. And I am the second guy to ever drive this car after it's been restored. So I'm gonna take it out on the road, go to a local village here and just indulge in the details. So after driving the red and the yellow kind of development cars, it's really cool to jump behind the wheel of something so, true to what a 240Z was back in 1969. This is car number 23. This is a very special car to Chris and of course the whole Datsun 240Z lineage. It's in Japanese, 23 of course stands for Nissan, and this is the car that Chris really took his time in restoring, bringing it back to perfect OEM spec, getting all the materials, the textures on the plastics, right down to the vinyl seats just right. And driving, it really does kind of come across as a time capsule. It drives exactly how these cars drove back in the 60s and 70s. And it really makes you understand the development work that is going on with, giving people options to evolve their 240Zs in various ways, making them more usable, livable, and a great drive in a modern car sort of way. So a massive thank you for Chris to allowing me to take this car out and enjoy it, and really understanding what he does with these vehicles. Okay, so fast forward a little bit and we are with the blue number 23 240Z, which we took down from the museum to take out. I mean, this car hasn't really been out much, has it? I mean,
no, that's a fact. I think Miyazaki-san and Kat drove it the 23rd of October last year. And so this is really the third outing of the car, so that's on the street. And I didn't drive it myself. Yet.
Wait, you haven't driven this yet?
No, not yet.
Oh my God. No. So I just got to drive it before you. That's crazy. But it is such a special car in that, I mean, aside from the fact that it is number 23 when it comes to the VIN number there, but you were actually saying, so because of like, test cars and the way the production kicks off, this is actually probably like the 5th to 7th car that they actually made,
you have,
right?
of course, have the left-hand drive production and the right-hand drive.
Yeah.
But for the left-hand drive, I think this is maybe the 5th, 7th car that is sold to the public. And what I also have to say is maybe 10 years ago, I could only think of liking a 240Z with very nice wheels and things on it. But now I really appreciate it also how clean and how simple it stands here.
Yeah.
It's really, really beautiful.
It's like 99% OEM perfect.
Well, I think that's what we really try to recreate it as it came out of the factory.
Yeah.
And yeah, so with the original rubber mats and the clear glass around and so many details that are different from other cars.
And there's not even a defroster here at the back.
No, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And opening up the door, which again, as we saw in the museum, because of the rubbers, you just let go and it closes so gently and easily. These are the carpets that were really hard to see in the museum. So this is all stuff that you recreated with your team, right down to the vinyl for the seats.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just getting everything perfect as it was.
Yeah, as close as possible. And well, I think I'm very happy with the result because it's really, without, as it is really impressive. If you see the car in person.
It's like a time capsule basically, because it hasn't really changed at all since that day in 1969 when it came out of the Nissan factory.
Yeah, what's interesting that at the moment we are assembling car 22. So it's really crazy to see that two cars that were behind each other on the
sister cars from the production line.
It's really, really special.
Years after, decades after ending up here in Holland with you.
One thing is for certain, purity is truly something that S30 World sticks to. Staying true to what made the 240Z and the Fairlady Z the cars that so many people loved over the decades, but still able to offer upgrades and more modern solutions, but things that in no way take away from the classic look and feel of these cars. A good example is the hydraulic power steering kit that they have just developed. Not happy with the numb-feeling electric options out there, they wanted the best possible feel and handling feedback to be transmitted to the driver. As Chris tells me, it wasn't easy, as there's a lot of information in English out there from the success the 240Z had in the US, but an even bigger amount of potential knowledge from the Japanese side, and the success the Fairlady Z enjoyed in Japan. He has armed himself with a trusty team of advisors and consultants that have allowed him to collect an even bigger array of knowledge on these cars, right down to meeting and talking to the original designer of the car and people that worked on the development of the Z in Japan. Chris's knowledge and level of understanding of these cars goes right down to things like the seat vinyl patterns and changes in chassis reinforcements that were done throughout the car's production. All little things that really blew me away.
All right, so that brings my time here at S30 World to an end. It's been amazing finding out what Chris and his team really strives to do with these cars, offering so many options for his customers, but with the end goal to kind of give them the ability to really enjoy classic cars, classic 240Zs in a way that you would never be able to do with a proper 1969 to 1978 240Z. He's making the most out of what he's able to create with parts manufacturing and getting all the details right, and then fine-tuning the engine and the feel, the suspension, everything about the car. So hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you check back soon for more. And of course, there's one more video coming from S30 World about their crazy project, so make sure you check that out.